It's a lot of pressure owning a business.
It is a ton of pressure to own business, and that's why I think if we're struggling, we need to be able to reach out to each other and say, hey, this is the area where I'm having trouble or I'm having an issue. Do you have a solution to this? So many times we'll go to a networking event and someone goes, oh, dude, how you doing? Oh, we're killing it, man. Best year ever. And they're full of crap. Not all money is good money. And we have to be able to walk away from it. Stop looking at people like competitors. Okay? What I like to say is this, is I really don't have competitors because I want everyone to win. When you see successful people, you should not be jealous of them. You should be inspired by them. And if you're getting that negative attitude, oh, you know what? That maybe that's what you really need to do is examine yourself, examine your attitudes and your priorities. Don't worry about what they're doing. You need to worry about what you're doing.
Today, we have an amazing guest. I'm super excited. He runs Planet Duct, who is the sponsor of the show. You will be seeing an ad read here in the next few minutes, actually, because he sponsors the show and has since the very beginning. The first episode and the reboot episode when I had the vision to get a place for it and take it downtown, and your continued support of the show has really meant a lot to me, and I just want to let you know I appreciate that.
Oh, thank you.
Yeah, so Brandon Kirk, owner of Planet Duct. I almost said Vehement Visuals. I always almost say that.
I'll buy you out. I mean,
it's my go-to. But yeah, Planet Duct, and that's your sole business right now, right?
It's sole business. We sold off our carpet cleaning division with 6 trucks. Sold that off in 2021, so I could concentrate solely on Planet Duct and really take us to the next level in business. Trying to run 2 separate businesses just wasn't working.
Yeah, even though they were kind of adjacent.
Yeah, they're very complementary businesses. Mm-hmm. They work well with each other, but trying to run 2 separate teams with basically 2 separate trades was brain damage. And it was it's like you want to do one thing well and not try to divide yourself or spread yourself too thin, because then things fall through the cracks.
And that's where I'm going with my business. I'm like, that's one thing I've learned in the first 3 years of doing business. It's something I was told by my mentors from the very beginning, and I was like, I just need to go out there and get experience. But now that I've had the actual experience, it's like, yeah, that's what I should have been doing all along.
Yep.
And so, yeah, it's interesting. What was that like, running those 2 businesses simultaneously?
It was very stressful. Mm-hmm. It's hard to run all those teams, and then especially if you don't delegate enough, and that's what I'm learning to do now is to delegate a lot more and take everything. So I'm not the sole person in charge of everything. I've got other people now that are my support structure, so they can handle the mundane, or they can handle the things that I really don't want to deal with, and I'll let them handle it. It also helps them grow in their role within the company.
Yeah, and you dealt with those things for many years, so you put in the work, you paid your dues.
Oh yeah.
To build this thing, to give people a position to build their thing, or build with you.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome. So with delegation, so you broke off, you sold the other company.
Yep.
And that's not even delegation, that's just cutting things off. That you got to do that first, right?
Yep. Yeah, you have to cut away anything that's getting in the way of your success. And so I moved that off. I sold it to a great friend. Showed the company to 8 different people. Got a buyer. They took over. I'm still on their board of directors for at least another month or 2.
Yeah.
And providing some guidance. Mm-hmm. But yeah, once I got that off my plate, I was able to really dive into this part of my business, the air ducts, and we've become, the predominant air duct cleaning company in Southern Colorado now.
I would think so. I mean, there's other people, but like the way you've branded yourself, I think, is not just branded but built. It has that professional feel. I think it really feels like because other duct cleaning companies, they're also doing HVAC, they're also doing this, they're also doing that, but you're like, this is what we're doing. And we are Planet Duct.
yeah, we stick to what we do, and the cool thing is we get along with our competitors, because there's enough business out there for all of us. We'll even collaborate. It's like they get into something that's too big for them. They're like, we don't have the capability to do this. I'm like, you know what? I'll partner with you, and we've done that with several of our competitors, and it helps them grow, and it also helps raise the standard of how business is done.
It's a good way to have a sense of abundance when you do that, instead of, trying to take scraps from everybody else. There's more than enough for everybody, correct?
Yeah, it's not about who can get a piece of the pie. It's like, hey, why don't we make a bigger pie?
Yeah.
Yeah, we really deal from abundance. We don't deal in lack or scarcity, or we're so fearful that somebody else is going to get this job. If I bid on something and my competitor gets that job instead, I'm not going to cry. I'm like, good for you. You're feeding your family. I'm feeding my family. Then I'm like, okay, what's the next opportunity? And when you come at it from that idea, hey, there's enough for all of us. There's probably more than enough for all of us. You're not freaking out about every little thing, and you're not trying to control all the situations and stressing out about it. I mean, because when you deal from lack or scarcity, it's very, very stressful.
Pardon this interruption, but we'd like to take a quick, brief moment to thank our sponsors. Are you looking to take your business to new heights? Look no further than Recon Marketing. Picture this, a team of creative masterminds dedicated to maximizing your brand's potential. Recon Marketing is all about delivering tailored marketing campaigns that make a lasting impact. They understand the unique needs of businesses like yours and specialize in creating personalized strategies that drive results. From social media to SEO, Recon Marketing has the tools and the know-how to catapult your brand to the forefront of your industry. Their data-driven approach ensures that every marketing dollar is optimized, delivering a powerful return on investment. But it doesn't stop there. Recon Marketing goes above and beyond by providing comprehensive analytics and in-depth reporting. They believe in transparency, empowering you with the knowledge to make informed decisions and refine your marketing strategy for even greater success. Don't settle for ordinary. Choose Recon Marketing and unlock the full potential of your business. Our next sponsor is Planet Duct. Are you tired of breathing in dusty air? Want to improve the quality of your home and office? Look no further than Planet Duct, the experts in air duct cleaning. Planet Duct is dedicated to providing top-notch service, ensuring your ducts are clean and free from harmful contaminants. With their state-of-the-art equipment and skilled technicians, they'll remove built-up dust, allergens, and even mold, giving you a breath of that fresh mountain air. Why choose Planet Duct? They go beyond ordinary cleaning, employing advanced techniques to ensure your entire HVAC system is thoroughly cleaned. Their team understands the importance of a healthy living and working environment, and they're committed to delivering exceptional results. When you choose Planet Duct, you're not only investing in cleaner air, but also in your overall well-being. Clean air means fewer allergies, reducing respiratory issues, and increased energy levels. Breathe easier knowing your air ducts are in the hands of the professionals at Planet Duct. And feel free to mention our show when you reach out to them. Don't compromise on your health or the air you breathe. Trust Planet Duct to clean and maintain your air ducts. Visit their website at planetduct.com to book your appointment today. Introducing our next sponsor, the People's Tiny House Festival, the ultimate celebration of innovative living spaces and alternative lifestyles. Whether you're intrigued by the cozy charm of tiny homes, the freedom of the van life, or the creativity of schoolies, this festival is an absolute must-attend event for enthusiasts and curious minds alike. Step inside beautifully crafted tiny homes that redefine the meaning of home sweet home. Witness the ingenuity of the space-saving designs, clever storage solutions, and sustainable living practices. Experience the thrill of van life and discover a community of adventure seekers who have embraced the nomadic lifestyle. And let's not forget about the schoolies, where old buses are transformed into one-of-a-kind rolling homes. Mark your calendars, gather your friends and family, and don't forget your dogs, because it is pet-friendly. And join us for an unforgettable experience that will open your minds to new possibilities. And I say us because we'll be there, because Marcus is the one who puts on the show and organizes it. I said show, but you know what I meant though. Get your tickets now and visit peoplestinyhousefestival.com. Oh yes, and one more thing. It is July 1st and 2nd in Loveland, Colorado at the Ranch Events Complex. Now let's get back to the show.
Have you been in a situation, you've been doing business for a long time, have you been in a situation where someone did win a job and you felt bitter about that?
I used to.
Okay.
But I had to learn to change my whole mindset, change our whole culture, and how we think about business. And yeah, I mean, I made a ton of mistakes over the years, and I've learned from, I mean, I had a former employee that went out and basically started his own company and went after and stole my accounts and was actually stealing my accounts while he was working for me.
Oh, man.
And I wasted so much time and energy. In fact, I ended up suing the guy. Biggest mistake I made. Because even if you win, you lose. It took too much mental energy Now I see this guy, we'll meet up at networking events, and I'm like, he's telling me things that are going on and stuff. I'm like, hey, good for you. I'm glad you're doing it. He's actually doing a lot of the stuff that he learned from me. And now we're not competitors anymore because I'm not in that space. And I realized, you know what? It was not worth it. It was not worth it to fight over scraps.
Yeah, because all that energy wasted, you could have been working on growing your business.
Yeah, time and mental energy, and it just wasn't worth it. So, and that's what happens. You stress out, you freak out, you're involved in scarcity and lack thinking as opposed to abundance. You make mistakes like that.
Yeah, and that affects your mood. It affects everything.
Oh, yeah.
It trickles down. So, Marcus, do you have any questions to add on to the delegation process?
Well, there's one before I get into the delegation process, and I think it's one of the coolest ones, is because like Planet Duct I love the branding of it, like he was talking about before, because it is Brandon Kirk, like your nerdy personality, right? And for those who don't know a little bit about Planet Duct, like tell them a little bit about like the name. And I know we've had you on the show before, but if those who are watching you for the first time, they might not know your story behind Planet Duct. So can you go into that first?
I'm a big sci-fi guy. I mean, Star Wars, Star Trek, Battlestar Galactica, Space 1999. I mean, you name it. If it's sci-fi, if it's Marvel, if it's anything nerdy, I'm all about that. And the whole concept of Planet Duct was actually a joke.
Oh, really?
A friend of mine goes, I'm like, hey, I'm going to start this air cleaning company. He goes back, works up stuff, comes up with a logo, basically a planet that looks like an air duct, and he goes, hey, what do you think about that? I was like, I love that.
Nice.
He's like, dude, it was a joke. I'm like, no, it's not. I'm like, can I have this artwork? Will you sign over the rights to this name and everything else? And he goes, yeah, dude, you got it. And he's a friend of mine down in Pueblo. And I was like, cool. And then we said, hey, you know what? We're going to name all of our trucks after spaceships. And, we're going to have fun with it. And we're going to make it a nerdy company. And I'm going to bring in all my nerd gear, all my nerd treasure into
some of it. I've been to your house before.
Yeah, some of it. I have a lot. I mean, whether it's helmets or action figures or lightsabers. I mean, there's so much stuff that I've got. I was like, I want to incorporate this in the business, and I want to be surrounded by things that make me happy. And that's what we've done.
Nice. That's a good thing.
I feel like that served you, right? Like just being transparently yourself to your business, like it helps people buy into like what you're doing too, right? If you're authentically yourself, it shows through your business.
I want to show up as my authentic self wherever I'm at, whether I'm on the radio, whether I'm at a networking event, whether I'm at some fundraiser, wherever you see me, you're going to get the same Brandon Kirk, no matter who the audience is.
I love that, and that's probably why, you have quite a name in our town. And for a good reason. I mean, for one, you're a great businessman. Two, I think you're a good just leader, and it's awesome to see that, because that's definitely like when no cameras are on, you're the same Brandon Kirk, and I love that about you, and it speaks to like probably how much you've grown as a leader and through your business as well. And we're talking about delegation before. I'm in your spot in a lot of ways, where I have a couple different companies, and one's grown pretty at critical mass at this point. And I've learned to delegate a lot with both of them, really, because there's no way I'd be able to survive handling both. But I think last time I spoke to you, I was trying to sell one of them, or I was going to sell one of them, and it's been under due diligence a couple times, fallen through.
Okay.
But talk a little bit more about, like, before all that, right? So like the delegation process, what you've been learning right now, how has that, I'm sure that's been a hard skill to learn. And is it because, I know you personally, you're also a perfectionist and you expect the best from people. So how do you drive that out of people?
I have very high standards. So for me to turn stuff over to other people and give them authority and give them space to do what they know is right, it was very hard to do that, because I was like, oh man, we get the idea. If I'm not doing it, it's not going to get done right.
That's what I was
which
thinking.
is extremely arrogant.
Yes, it is. Yeah, it really is.
Also, if I don't let go of the reins, let somebody go out there, they don't have the opportunity to fail or to make a mistake and then learn from it. And before it's like, oh, we can't afford any mistakes, we can't afford any failure. Well, that means you can't afford to learn. And that's once I grasped that concept, I was like, okay, I need to develop my people. I need to let them fail without consequences. The old Brand, they would have been like, you screw something up, you're gonna feel my wrath. No, I've really mellowed out to the point where I can let people take that. I mean, yeah, and I've done other things. I've gotten into counseling. I've started doing yoga. I found some meds that work really good that keep me level and just make me a nicer person. And that gives me the opportunity to make space for others.
Do you think, applying the wrath was beneficial for a time period? Do you think that helped?
Yes, absolutely. I mean, that was who I was, and it was the way I was raised and everything else. I was raised by 2 United States Marines.
Okay.
And in our house, I mean, discipline came before explanation, and that's the way I was raised, and it served me well. I mean, with all my businesses that I've had over the years, I mean, and the fact that I've been able to support my family and support so many other families, yes, it served its purpose for a time, but I needed to let go of that so that I could grow and I could let others grow.
And you probably weren't happy.
I wasn't happy. I wasn't happy at all. I was miserable, and of course, I hid it well. But now that I've found a way to embrace making space for others, giving them the opportunity to grow, it's freed me up. It's taken a lot off my plate. It's allowed them to step into the fullness of who they are, and that's been just fantastic to watch people grow within the organization.
Do you think that it's even better than applying the wrath?
Yes, it's so much better to allow people to make mistakes, to allow them to do so without consequences, so they can learn from those mistakes. My biggest amount of learning I've ever done in my life has come from my failures, not my successes. And I was robbing people of their opportunity to grow. And
you were robbing your business of the opportunity to grow. Then
exactly. Yep.
Yeah, you're stealing from yourself.
Yes. Yep.
Yeah, that's interesting. Yeah, so you've recently, we were talking when we met the other day that this year you've closed, or you've got a really big contract. Do you want to go into that a little bit more?
Yeah, we just did our two biggest jobs ever in the city. There was a big athletic club on the north end of town. They had a fire in their facility, and we went in there and took 4 teams, 4 days. We cleaned their air ducts. I mean, the place, because the building had filled with smoke, and there was smoke damage all over the place and in the air ducts. And that was our biggest job. Well, word's been getting around organically that we're doing a lot more commercial work, and we just finished up a massive project at CSU Pueblo. So we're starting to pick up a lot more big contracts like that. We've even cleaned all the air ducts in the Pueblo airport. So
nice.
There is no building.
I didn't even know there was an airport.
There is. Yeah. They actually have a really decent airport down there. It's nice. In fact, they're getting a lot more carriers to come in there and take people around. So
Pueblo might sneak up and overcome to Colorado Springs out of nowhere.
There's a lot of growth in Pueblo. Pueblo West is booming. There's I'm just going to tell you, there's so much money in Pueblo West.
I bet.
I mean, so for people in the trades and people looking to tap into that market, people look, oh, Pueblo, oh, that's down the road. It's like, hey, you need to check it out. They're growing, and they're doing pretty well down there. So
yeah.
I'm stoked for what's going on there.
So with that contract, how do you win that contract? Are you open to going into the financials of the contract? Or
yeah, I mean, for it was 12 days of work, $165,000 for us, which is a pretty big air duct cleaning job. A cool thing is I learned from my mentors out at the National Air Duct Cleaners Association. Said, hey, if you're going to go into a big job like that, you're going to put out a ton of labor expenses and stuff like that. They're like, ask for a mobilization fee up front. So I'm like, before we start work, I need a mobilization fee. That's going to cover a good chunk of my labor up front, so that I'm not having to go borrow money to do this job.
Yes,
and we did that, and nice. I showed up with my trucks. We started work. They had a check for me, and that took a lot of stress off, being able to ask for a mobilization fee. But I never would have thought to even ask that. They say, don't call it a deposit. Don't call it a down payment. You say it's a mobilization fee. Before I'm going to roll out my $100,000 air duct trucks, I need a mobilization fee to cover some of the expenses up front. And when you're dealing, especially with a big insurance claim, where something catches on fire and contaminates the building, they're going to be open to that, especially if you're pretty much the only people who can actually do the job. Mm-hmm. So.
Yeah, so how did they reach out? I mean, did they reach out to you, or how did that go down?
It was funny. It was like a Friday afternoon. I got a phone call. Actually, Jackie Gonzalez down here at ABC Bank was talking to the owner of a restoration company that was bidding on that job down there. And they called and said, hey, can you come out and do a bid? And I'm like, well, yeah, when do you need me? Like, in about 2 hours down in Pueblo. I was like, oh, okay. I'm gonna drop what I'm doing. Mm-hmm. I went down there and I took a look at it. Did the tour, walk through, put together a bid, and literally 45 days later, like, hey, we won the bid. We want you to come in and do this. And I coordinated with their people doing the rest of the restoration cleanup, the stuff that we don't do. Mm-hmm. Worked very well with their crew, and it came out beautiful. I mean, the place was sparkling. The odor was gone. The ducts looked, pristine. Mm-hmm. I mean, I was extremely pleased with how well we did that.
Nice.
That's awesome. Did you have another team work with you? Because you're talking about teaming up with other businesses to get a big job done.
Restoration companies in particular are a perfect fit for us because they are very good at cleaning up water, fire, mold damage, but they're not great, nor do they have the training and the tools to clean air ducts properly, whether it's smoke damage or mold inside the ducts and stuff. That's what we specialize in. So we partner with them, and they'll either bring us in and say, hey, you handle this portion, or hey, we want you to subcontract under us. And typically that's what happens. We'll come in and subcontract. We'll go do a great job. They'll tack on whatever percentage they need for administrative, and everybody wins.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, I recently just met up with the owner. I haven't met him yet, but I'm getting to be scheduled to meet with the owner of All Phases. Have you worked with them yet?
I haven't worked with them. I know them by reputation.
Okay.
And they're because I was in the restoration industry myself for 10 years. They've got a fantastic reputation.
Right.
So yeah.
Yeah, it's they're big.
Yeah, they are.
And my buddy, he owns a gym, and he knows the owner of All Phases because they had coincidentally, because I know they're down here, but they had a big old warehouse in northern Colorado and Windsor, Colorado as well. And so I'm going to get linked up with him, and maybe that might be a great connection for you as well.
Yeah, love to sit down and talk with him, see if we can benefit each other.
Yeah, because that's some big jobs, man. That's awesome. That's so great. So it
Yeah.
sounds like you've been progressing quite a lot. And I heard from Andrew's tour with you that we did, or that he did rather, that there's a board that you have of like truths in life. I don't know what the actual name of it is, but he said when he first met you, there was like 20 of them, and now you're getting up to like 30 or 40 different types of statements.
40, 45, yeah.
So let's talk a little bit about that. What's that all about?
Oh, wow. It's just core things that I believe that I want to stress to my staff. I mean, rule number 1 is nobody owes you anything.
100%.
Teach my guys that. Get rid of your entitlement attitude. Nobody owes you anything. There's other things,
I feel like you edited that. I feel like it probably said nobody owes you shit.
I might have edited that. Yeah. The kind of gentler Brandon is editing things as we go along. But yeah, I mean, there's all different truths up there. If you give the bare minimum, you should expect the bare minimum. I mean, different things I've heard from my mentors over the years, and I finally just wrote them all down. And if something new comes up, I'll put note. There's no such thing as a secret. You think something's a secret, somebody's going to figure it out. I mean, there's that one. Rule number 42: it's never food poisoning. You're trying to get off work, you don't have food poisoning.
Yeah,
and everyone knows it. But yeah, we've got a list of truths in the office. Basically, Brandon's rules of life. Just stuff I try to share with my guys, and hopefully shape them and mold them. And
sounds like it could be a good book.
Yeah. That's something I'm thinking about too.
Okay.
But yeah, one of my rules is, the squeaky wheel gets replaced.
Love it.
So in our business, we don't, somebody wants to yell and scream and get loud and try to, force their way or manipulate their way into something. No, we don't. We don't grease the wheel. We replace it.
I love that. I mentioned this on the past couple of interviews, but where I used to work in a corporate marketing agency, but we had a thing called execution excellence, and it meant like didn't matter who you are, from CEO down to the janitor. If there's toilet paper that needs to be replaced, you're replacing it.
Yep.
If there's a coworker who's out and he sits next to you and their phone's ringing, you answer it for them.
Yes.
And I love that because it just shows the transparency and like the playing field is even, right? With everybody who has to do everything. No one's too good for anything. I feel like that's got a lot of parallels to what you're establishing over at Planet Duct.
Yeah. I mean, every job that my guys do, I can do that exact same job. I have done that same job. So I know what I'm asking of them when they do it. And everyone should be willing to do the same thing. I mean, everyone's got their different tasks. Some people, though, I won't let them drive my trucks. I'm like, your driving's not so good, so you don't get to drive, but you can do this.
Yeah.
That's awesome. Well, let's talk about the importance of mentorship, because I know you've talked about it before, and it sounds like you still have a lot of great mentors in your life, and it sounds like you're already mentoring a lot of people, not even just employees, but just people in the business world in general. So let's talk a little bit more about talk about the importance of mentorship in your life.
Well, mentorship has been huge. I mean, I do a lot of work with Frank Sinclair. Everyone knows Frank here in town. Frank's been my mentor for about 3 years now.
Nice.
And he's helped us transform our culture. I mean, the things he has done has helped save my business. It has helped save my marriage. Make me a better person, make my company a better place to work. So mentors, and one mentor is good if you've got multiple mentors who specialize in different areas. Frank is really great on the encouragement and the culture piece, but he doesn't really deal with the financials. So I've got a different mentor who helps me with my financials and balance sheets and P&Ls and all that, learning how to watch that stuff and watch my numbers.
Is that Robert?
Robert Phelan. I've worked with Robert in the past. He's somebody I've worked with, and I've got some other people that do the same thing now as well. Robert's good. Frank, obviously. Different people that I'll meet with, and then I meet with new business owners all the time. I've got one-to-ones in my office all the time, and we'll sit down. I just was working with a company the other day, working on their marketing, and I was like, ooh, I looked at your Google My Business page. Here's about 20 things you need to fix, like right now. If you want to dominate in your rankings and your listings. I used to do all my own SEO for 10 years. Wow. Now I don't have time for that. I have somebody else handle my SEO, and they keep me number one on Google. But when I get a new business owner, I sit down and I literally give them a list of homework. These are the things you need to go work on. These are the places your business should be listed, and they're not. These are some mistakes you've got on your Google My Business page, which is your most valuable digital asset. It's more important than your website. And so we go over that, and I look at areas. I'm like, okay, have you thought about this? Okay, do you have a good accountant? Do you have a good attorney? Do you have a good banker? And I make introductions.
Our first meeting, I think I remember doing that with you.
Yep.
Yeah. You even went and reviewed my business too.
Yeah, I do. That's what I do.
Yeah.
I had somebody walk in the other day, and I already had a sheet full of notes. I'm like, here's the things you need to work on, things you need to jump on seriously fast if you want to grow, and everything, even going out and getting more reviews from your customers and how to push that. I mean, it took me forever to get reviews. I mean, I think in my carpet cleaning business, it took me like literally 10 years to get up to 700 reviews. I'm over 700 now in 4 years with my new company.
Because you're being proactive on that.
Because we're being very proactive on it.
Do you send out, how do you get those reviews?
There's multiple different paid services that will go out and help retrieve the reviews from your existing customers. I use something called Bird Eye. Bird Eye is fantastic. A friend of mine used to work for the BBB. He introduced me to that years ago. There's also Podium and several other services. And if you want to get reviews, you need something automated to help you do it.
And these aren't fake reviews.
No, these are not. I will never do fake reviews. I know, some people will go out there and they'll go buy fake reviews. Google will catch you, and they will punish you. So don't do it.
Yeah.
So it's not worth it.
Yeah, and it's also
it's an integrity thing.
Yeah, it's an integrity thing, but the truth comes out eventually no matter what.
Yep.
So it's like you can have those fake reviews, but your business not gonna. It may give you a short-term benefit, but it's not gonna help you down the long run.
And Yeah, and if the online platforms, whether it's Google or Yelp or Facebook or Angie's List, any of those, if they find fake reviews, they're going to take them down.
Mm-hmm.
And their algorithms are smart. So yeah, it's not something.
I wish they would take down the fake crypto reviews that I get on my Facebook business page.
Yeah,
like Facebook business page has a problem with having all these crypto scammers reviewing your business because it's good for you. Because there's a review on your business, so you're less likely to take it down. But I still submit it, and it doesn't get taken down. Like I submit it as like a fake review. But it also, I mean, it's like I have 15 reviews on Facebook, and 5 of them are crypto spam stuff, and it's like it's not even mine. So I hope I don't get flagged for that because I don't want those fake reviews.
No, you don't. And if you can contact the people, try to get them to take them down. Hey, please remove this. You're actually hurting my page rank.
These people don't care. The ones who are posting it.
Yeah, I'm sure they don't.
Yeah.
But
they're putting their number in. They're doing that because it's a way for them to get to get more awareness for their fake scam.
They do the same thing to my YouTube channel. I've got 95 videos out there, and they'll post their stuff and they'll throw their link in there, and I delete everything I can. The easiest way to deal with this is just to bury all that under new, good, fresh, relevant reviews. From your clients.
Yeah, smart man. I know a little bit because for my marketing company, we are Google partners and Facebook partners. So if you guys ever do need help, like especially if something you can't take off, if you're trying to take off, let me know. I can help out with that because we have specific reps, but mostly it's just because they just can't deal with all the different types of spam bots that are out there. They're making all these false claims, all these false reviews. That's their biggest issue. And then they have an algorithm that flags things maybe that don't even need to be flagged too at the same time. So that's where you get those flag content. You're like, all I said was, I'm going to kick your butt up this hill on a race, and I'm getting flagged for harassment on Facebook. They have all these different types of systems in place.
It's robotic.
We're still in the Wild West in social media in a lot of ways. So it's good to see a business owner know these things and know how Google actually works. Because yes, you're right. They do. It is a knock on you when you have things like that. And relevance, he said relevance, that's one of the biggest key things for Google with anything they do. Keywords, landing pages, ad copy, all those different things.
Content.
Yeah.
Everything. Content's everything.
Yeah, it's really, really big. Well, we talked about mentorship for sure, and it sounds like you've mentored a lot of people yourself, correct?
Correct. Yeah, I mentor a lot of business owners. They'll come and say, hey, I need help with this. Can you tell me how to get here? How did you get to this point? And we'll sit down and we'll do one-to-ones, and I'll give them homework, and then I don't want to do another follow-up with them until they've completed everything on that list.
Sounds like your parents have instilled a lot of values in you too. It sounds like that's some of that military homework stuff that don't come back to me until it's done.
Exactly. Yep.
That's awesome, man. Well, I know you've mentored so many people. You've mentored Andrew, who always raves about you. I know you mentored someone who we suddenly lost in the community as well, Matthew Vieira as well. Yep. I know that's been hard for not only Andrew, but both of you guys. You guys are very close to him as well.
I mean, Matthew in this network and business community, man, he was a shining, rising star, and he was out there killing. He was doing great. I mean, he was mastering social media. He was getting the word out about his business. I mean, he just watching him grow as a business owner day after day. Wow, what's he doing now? Whoa, what's the next thing he's going to do? And it was awesome to watch him. And we had met so many times and talked about his business and marketing and networking and different strategies and everything. But yeah, losing Matt was very hard. And the amount of people, number one, that showed up to his service was fantastic. I mean, there was a ton of people there, everyone showing their love, and that was phenomenal. Because I've heard typically the average funeral or a memorial service, 8 people will show up, and if it's a rainy day, 4. And it was a rainy day. It was raining outside, and we had at least 150 people there. I think. I mean, it was awesome. But yeah, losing Matt was very hard, and that was sad to see that. And that's one of my biggest things. I hate to see wasted potential. And now that we've lost him, I mean, it just makes me wonder how far would he have gone in business. I believe he was already doing so well in his space in this town. I was excited every time. I was like, ooh, what's going to happen next? How is he going to grow? You know, oh, he's getting another truck. Oh, he's getting another trailer. Oh, he's got some employees he's training. And it was phenomenal to watch him.
It's a lot of pressure owning a business.
It is a ton of pressure to own business, and that's why, you know, I think if we're struggling, we need to be able to reach out to each other and say, hey, this is the area where I'm having trouble or I'm having an issue. Do you have a solution for this? So many times we'll go to a networking event and someone goes, oh, dude, how you doing? Oh, we're killing it, man. Best year ever. And they're full of crap. They're stressed out. They're having employee issues. They're taking a mortgage on their house to make payroll, but they're telling you they're killing it. Well, why would you do that? Come out, tell people what's really going on. Tell them the good and the bad that's happening in your business, because they may have the answer to your next problem. They may actually have the solution to what you're dealing with right now. But if you're being fake and you're not out there expressing, hey, this is what I'm struggling with, then you don't open yourself up for solutions. And solutions will fall right in your lap. Hey, I know somebody who can help you with that. Hey, I've dealt with that before. Here's how you fix this. Yeah. So we need to be able to, as business people, especially entrepreneurs, it's a very lonely world for entrepreneurship. You know, and we think, oh, we gotta have the whole weight of the world on our shoulders. We can't show weakness. We can't let anyone know that we're having a problem in our business. And when we do that, we rob ourselves of the opportunity to get help, and we rob other people of the opportunity to help us. So I think, you know, showing up, being authentic, and not hiding when you're having trouble in your business. Let people know, hey, I'm struggling with this. Do you know who I could talk to about this? That's huge.
Yeah. I know. Last year was, for me personally, my biggest year financially, but it also, the last few months have been pretty stressful and pretty hard. And it's been interesting. Like, I could say that last year was the greatest year. But there's lots of things I wasn't doing right. You know, you can have all these great things happening, but then you can have all these other bad things happening that are like multiplying that you're not paying attention to. And that can, you know, sink your business really quick.
It can sink you, sidetrack you, just make you not as profitable as you wanted to be. You're like, oh man, why did I spend money advertising there? Oh, I wasted all that money. I just threw money away. That's a dead media. Why did I even do that? And yet we've all done it. I mean, I've wasted thousands or hundreds of thousands over the years on advertising in the wrong places, or, you know, oh, hey, I could tackle that service too. But wait a minute, that's not part of my core competency. That is simply a distraction. It's not really an opportunity, but I think it is. But it's really a distraction instead, and that will sidetrack you.
That's my going to be my biggest hurdle over the next few months, is turning down projects, because I've told myself, I've realized what I need to do, and I've set the goals, and now I just need to stick to them. And because it's hard to say no to a project when you need money.
Yes, it is.
So it's like, but if I say yes to this project, it's going to take away from me from winning the projects that will provide me with the way I want to get paid, doing the things I want to do, and not being bogged down with a whole bunch of small little things everywhere. And that's what I've learned with me and my business, and I just need to actually say no to the things, which is going to be hard.
It goes against your nature as a business owner. It goes against your instinct. It's like, oh wait, money. I can get that money. But not all, and this is one thing I learned. That's one of my lessons I need to put on the board is not all money is good money. And we have to be able to walk away from it. That's hard though. I mean, because I'm thinking back, wow, you know, when I was poor, when I was homeless, when I lived in a single wide in the bad part of town, man, you tell me, I need $10,000, you know, I need $1,000, $10,000. It might as well be $1 million at that point. But that's where we're dealing with. We're talking about abundance and scarcity again. And you have to embrace, you know, I don't need that project because I'm dealing in abundance. I know that the universe is going to provide what I need. I need to go after my core competency, go after what's in my real profit center, and that's a distraction. but find somebody else who can meet that need and give that referral.
For sure.
And then you win, the customer wins, and so does whoever you referred that to. So it's not like it's, I just wasted that opportunity. No, you passed it to somebody else who needed to feed their family too.
Yeah, that's really big. I know when I worked at agency, I had a lot of smaller clients, and these are people who, gosh, it was so crazy. So it was a big hit on my moral compass because I had a lot of smaller clients. When I worked at agency, I had 100 clients to my book. Okay, there's no way you can manage 100 businesses or marketing plans for 100 different businesses. This is not possible. And we were talking like $300 a month here, $400 a month here. I mean, it's insane. And so when I started Recon, I wanted to make sure that I had a little bit more established businesses because I understand that marketing, especially in the way that I do it with ads, is a lot of it's testing. And you got to look at the money as testing. You can't look at it as like, this is going to be the be all end all strategy. And if we don't get an ROI in a month, it's going to be okay. At least we know, hey, maybe we shouldn't take this path. Let's try this. Let's try that. That's what it is, right? And so like that was the biggest saving thing for me. But yeah, it was really hard turning down smaller business for that. It was really, really hard because, the bigger clients, they're harder to come by sometimes too until you establish a system to get them and build up your business. And I think it was the biggest saving grace for me to start a business like that because now I have now I have clients who understand and they get like if we lose money here, it was a test. It was worth testing, right?
Yes.
If you say yes to those small ones too, you're going to be so busy working on the small ones, you won't even go out to find the bigger ones.
Right.
Like I think that's been my biggest problem.
and you're spread too thin, so you're not going to provide the quality of service that you normally could if you're spread too thin. You're like, I'm trying to meet all these people's needs. You're not meeting any of their needs properly, and you're actually doing them a disservice and yourself a disservice. So, and if they couldn't afford the money to do the testing, they weren't your ideal client anyways.
Yeah, and the hardest story was that I had a guy who was just young and he inherited a lot of money and he was testing. It was great. And then I had a gal who was in her 80s starting a new business, put her whole entire life saving into it. She was a smaller client. So as you know, when you play those games with all those clients, you have to serve the bigger boys first because that's protecting your book. Yeah. And your book is your livelihood, right?
Correct.
And so you, like making those types of like judgment calls is like worst thing on your heart ever, right? Here's someone who's put their entire life savings. They're not a big client, but this is everything to them. How do you, put them aside to serve this other person just because you don't have enough time to serve everybody the way that you really want to?
You turn down the work in the first place.
Yeah, exactly.
I say, I'm sorry, we're not a good fit.
Yep.
And then you're not doing them a disservice.
Yeah.
Or yourself.
Yeah, and you're right. Like that's such a good point where you're saying that there's always someone out there that can help them. It can help them in a much better way and give them the undivided attention that they really deserve anyways, right?
And then you're feeding those people, and then those relationships will come full circle. Eventually they'll run into something, oh, hey, you know what? I've got this project. I can't handle it. It's too big. And then they end up feeding you.
Right.
So, everybody eats, everybody wins.
Well, that's another big thing that you do. So other than just like the mentorship, you are also big into like the networking community of Colorado Springs and helping building that as well.
Yep.
Can you talk a little bit about not only like what it's meant for you, but also like what's going on in the Springs for some of our viewers who might not know and might want to get plugged into some of the networking events?
There are so many free networking events in the city or low cost events where you can go out, you can meet other business owners, you can we got Springs Leadership Summit coming up. I mean, that's something. We got a lot of people. We're sponsoring this. Frank Sinclair's speaking at this. So we got Springs Leadership Summit's coming up. A lot of fantastic companies here doing that. But I go to a bunch of different networking things. I try not to go so crazy. There was a time I in 1 month I did 28 networking events when I was first starting Planet Duct. I was out there being a monster. Every day I was at something, and sometimes I would be at 4 different things in a single day. But yes, there's BNI, and I did BNI for 6 years, and that's good. It can be a little pricey. And you've got the commitment, so you've got to show up so many times.
It's the time commitment for me.
The time commitment's the biggest thing. But now I do a lot of networking events where I don't have to be there. If I have to miss something, I can miss, and it's no big deal because I've got something else that's more important I've got to take care of. But also they're free. I mean, you've got Power Connectors, you got Pikes Peak Pros, you got Monday Morning Network. There's a bunch of stuff on there's Meat Street, there's Pep Nets all around the city. There's so many places where you can go network
and meet so many people, connections,
meet
plant
people.
those seeds, you know. Like,
So while I do like some of the exclusive groups and that's great, they can be pricey. What I like to do is I like to fish in bigger ponds for less money.
yeah.
And I mean, I get myself out there, and there's different chambers. I mean, Tri-Lakes Chamber, fantastic. Women's Chamber, love the Women's Chamber. That is my target demographic right there.
Okay.
Tri-Lakes Chamber. No, I already talked Tri-Lakes. Oh, Fountain Valley
I was
Chamber.
about to say Fountain Valley, James Flowers.
Yeah, there's so many. There's a Hispanic chamber. There's so many great chambers around that are low cost. There's stuff with the Better Business Bureau. Better Business Bureau has made a huge difference in my company. We advertise with them. We're accredited. I've got 250 reviews at the Better Business Bureau on my company.
Nice.
Positive reviews, which is great. And they've got stuff like Buzz with the Bees. There's so many places you can network without having to put out a bunch of money. And if you're a startup, you are an 80-year-old lady who you put everything into this thing, and you want to grow your business and get an ROI. You can go out to all these networking events and you can meet people who need or want your services or know people who do, and you're not putting out a ton of money. You're not doing all the pay-per-click and streaming ads and all that stuff, or getting roped into something that gives you no ROI.
And if you're an extrovert, you got to suck it up and go out there anyways. If you want to do that, like that's a really good way to put yourself out there. Not an extrovert, an introvert. Yeah. Because I'm very introverted, and going to these networking events was like stressful for me. It was very like anxiety for me, because being like going to this room and like talking with a bunch of people. But I still did it, and it really helped. That's how I met you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I've seen people who have blossomed. People who are like, oh, they're so afraid to get up in front and talk to somebody. Tanya with Little Red Wagon Moving. Yeah. I mean, I started mentoring her. I've known her husband for 25 years. He actually sold me Hydro Clean carpet cleaning, in 2011. He sold me that company, and now his wife Tanya had no idea about marketing. Now she's a beast at marketing. She's out there. She's in front. She'll grab that mic and get on there and promote her business. And they do fantastic business now. But she was a little dormouse. She was a wallflower. She didn't want to get in front of anybody. Now she's killing it.
They were on episode like 11, I think, of this show.
Yeah.
I went to their house, actually. That's when I was filming at people's houses.
Okay,
Vince and Tanya Street It.
Yep, Vince and Tanya.
Little Red Wagon Moving. They're still doing it. They're still killing it. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I've known Vince for 25 years. I've been to both his weddings, and our kids have grown up together. So but when he married Tanya, she had no idea about marketing and networking. She wanted to help the business. Now, she's probably one of the greatest networking assets in the whole company.
I know she was facing a lot of harassment online.
Yeah.
And it was bad. Like, they were even going on our videos. Like, and I think she's kind of like stepped off a little bit from social media because of that.
She has.
I haven't really seen her much active on social media, at least.
Yep. She's got a cyber stalker.
Yeah, and it's crazy. This person is insane.
The person is insane. They've been doing this for 2 years now.
Yeah.
2 years for that level of animosity and hatred. It's like, dude, find something better to do with your life.
I tried telling them that.
Yeah, I know.
But because I replied,
y'all just need to calm down.
Yeah.
Again, that's when you're dealing with that mindset, abundance versus scarcity, and people get the wrong idea. Oh, you're making all that money over there. You must have built your business on the backs of other people, or for you to have that much money, you must have taken it from somebody else. Again, it's not. Oh, I got to get my piece of the pie. It's like, hey, let's make a bigger pie so more people can have some.
So if that person is right here watching this clip, if we clip it, what do you tell them?
If you're the cyber stalker, you need to knock it off.
Not the cyber stalker, but anyone out there who is having that mindset
of scarcity and lack.
Saying that a bit, like, just because something is successful, they're stealing from or they're whatever.
I would say, if you're coming at it from, you've basically fallen into class warfare. You've bought the old line. If they're doing better than me, then they must have cheated to get there. They must have built their company on the backs of other people. They must have, they're taking stuff away from other people to get that. And that's not the case at all. You need to get rid of that mindset. That's a horrible mindset to have. And you need to think, hey, there's plenty out there for everybody. and you need to change your mindset about how you think about money, how you think about business, how you think about your competitors. Your competitors can become, honestly, friends. They can become your friends. They can be people that you collaborate with, do joint ventures with, do joint projects with. Stop looking at people like competitors. Okay? What I like to say is this, is I really don't have competitors because I want everyone to win.
So what about like the person who is maybe at like a really like job that they just hate, like maybe like dishwashing or something that they just really don't like, and then they're seeing this video and they're thinking like, they're just stuck and they don't want, like, everything sucks in their life, like, and they're the kind of person who would see as someone who's successful and would be like they're a bad person because they're causing all this or whatever. Like, I don't know the mindset of that person. You know,
it's like a victim mindset. I think
Yeah.
we all know somebody. Like, I think everybody here knows somebody who's like that, who just like, I'm not there, and the only reason why they're there is because they had dad, or they had a friend, or they knew somebody, or they got lucky, or whatever it might be. I feel like that's kind of that victim mindset.
Yeah.
And there's a lot of that out there. So I think that's a better question, is like, how do you get those people to understand, you know, there's more. Like you said, there's a piece of pie for everybody. Don't even think about pieces of pie. There's abundance for everybody out there, right?
I'd say start looking at what's on your plate. Stop looking at what's on everyone else's plate.
He's like, I'm washing the plate though.
Yeah, I'm washing the plate. Yeah, and if you don't like your job and you want to have massive change in your life, you need to take massive action. If you hate your job, go get another one.
Exactly.
First of all, go find it.
But I can't because I have all this debt and I need to pay my shit.
No, you got excuses. And the problem with these people is they'll have the same excuses 5 years from now and 10 years from now. You're going to run into them 5 years from now and 10 years from now, and they're going to tell you the exact same excuses why they never did anything. Well, I coulda, I shoulda, I wanted to, I was thinking about it, I was fixing to, I was planning on. No, you need to execute. Stop making excuses and execute your plan. Because, again, nobody owes you anything. If you want it, you got to go out and grab it, and there's plenty for everybody. So if you go out and grab it, you're not taking it from anyone else.
Yeah. And what I've noticed when you go out and grab it, people see that and they like that, you know?
Yeah.
They gravitate towards that. And that builds that momentum. It builds that, it starts building on top of everything, you know? And it's awesome.
Yeah, it is. It's inspiring.
Exactly.
When you see successful people, you should not be jealous of them. You should be inspired by them. And if you're getting that negative attitude, you know what? That maybe that's what you really need to do is examine yourself, examine your attitudes and your priorities. Don't worry about what they're doing. You need to worry about what you're doing. All right? Be inspired by other people, not threatened. Okay? And if you're like, oh, that person, you know what? You go talk to that person who's successful, some person who's doing well, getting accolades, you know, killing it in business. You say, hey, can I set up a meeting with you? Can I sit down and talk? Could you tell me how to get where you're at? Because they didn't get there by dealing in lack and scarcity. They got there by dealing in abundance, and they will sit down with you. And if they won't, I will. I'll sit down with you. They'll sit down with you, and they'll share with you. I mean, it's all about giving back, and successful people give back.
It's very true. And checking that ego at the door, right? And I think one thing that's great about you, like he's coming back to you being Brandon all the time, is that like with success, with elevation, you're going to get both, right? The people who are inspired by you, that's awesome. But you are going to get the haters. I mean, it just comes with it. There's no other way around. You can be the best person in the world. I have haters with Tiny House Festival. They all know about that stuff. Like, it just happens. And like, I think there's a lot of importance to knowing to like, you're not doing anything wrong when you have haters. It's just going to happen. Just love, like, be yourself. Focus on yourself, and it'll shine through. You know, you're just going to have haters. It is what it is, right?
If you're successful, you're going to have haters. If you don't have haters, you're probably not doing something right.
Yeah, I don't even think it's possible.
And then if you do, I mean, you just got to not let yourself get wrapped up in it. You can't let it consume you. Because it will. It'll eat at you. So you just got to shrug it off.
Like, I was just thinking of Like, who's someone who could potentially have like 0 haters? There's literally no one. I was just thinking, well, Post Malone's a really nice person, but he gets lots of hate. He's like one of the nicest people ever.
Oh, yeah.
But he gets like, oh, he looks like a homeless guy. He gets like a hate for his looks. He doesn't get hate for who he is though, which is great, you know.
Yep.
Like I love that about Post Malone. That he's just such a great guy. And like I was just trying to think of someone that that probably doesn't have any haters, but you can't. Like you can't think of anyone who like they could be the greatest person.
Yep.
Like it's impossible.
Yeah. No, it's just one of those things, right? So what's next for Planet Duct? You have been going through some new projects this year. That's awesome. Getting some really good contracts. What's new for you guys? What's going to happen? What's some goals for you guys in the next few years?
We're going to continue to grow. I mean, we're up to 5 trucks now.
Awesome.
That can go out and clean. We're picking up a lot more commercial, so I think we're gonna see our split of residential to commercial business starting to lean a bit more toward commercial because we're very good at it, and word is getting out organically about it. So I think that's going to be the big thing. That and just working with my team. A lot more training, certifications. I'm working on additional certifications for myself.
Nice.
And basically, getting out there and, dominating in our field. That's pretty much that's the trajectory right now. Also, running lean, and we're not far off, but eventually we'll be a completely debt-free company. That's not very far off, but that's going to happen, and that's going to also help us be able to do more. Because I listened to what's that guy, Dave Ramsey.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, and it's like, I want to go buy that, but Dave Ramsey will punch me in the face. So
It's funny. Yeah.
So I mean, those are the main goals right now. It's just growing, getting ourselves to a place of being a debt-free company, and
so how do you
serving the community? I mean,
what is the benefit of having debt? Why is there debt? Is there a reason for that?
Oh, absolutely. You go out and buy a $100,000 air duct truck. You're not just gonna drop cash to do that. I've got 5 of them now.
Yeah.
And I've got one, well, right now I've got one that needs to get paid off. But yeah, they're expensive trucks, but they help us make money. So yes, debt can be fantastic. You're using somebody else's money to help grow your business. That's great. Business debt, I'm not afraid of. Personal debt, I don't like either. But also, when you don't have those monthly payments going out in your business every month, you can reinvest into more stuff, or you can build up cash reserves. Maybe look at purchasing a building.
Yeah. If you can drop $100,000 on a truck at one time,
sure,
that's better than paying a loan. If you can.
If you can, absolutely.
Yeah.
But if you can't, all right. Let's take an example. Let's say a $100,000 air duct truck is $1,800 a month payment. Okay, that's 3 air duct jobs.
Oh wow, yeah.
I got to do 3 air duct jobs in a month to pay for that truck. Okay, same thing in the carpet cleaning industry. Carpet cleaning truck, you're typically looking $60,000 or so truck. You're looking about $900 to $1,000. Okay, that's 3 or 4, probably 4 good carpet cleaning jobs. You can do that in a single day and pay for that truck for the rest of the month, and then eventually just pay that thing down. I mean,
yeah.
And once you don't have those payments, you can take that as additional profit. You can use it as reserves. You can, if you're the owner, you can take some of that out and put it into, I don't know, rental properties.
Yeah.
That's the end game for me. Air duct cleaning is not the end game. Real estate's my end game. So I'm working on that. And
you're listening to Dave Ramsey, apparently.
Yeah, listen to Dave Ramsey. Get those rentals and snowball the debt, snowball the payments and pay them off in 7 years as opposed to 30. Oh yeah, and then put everything in a trust and pass it on to your kids with no inheritance tax.
Yeah,
let's go.
Yeah.
Apparently, debt though. I'm not a wealthy person, but a lot of the wealthiest people, they don't even have any money.
Yeah.
Really, like they're getting loans on everything because you don't have to pay taxes on loans, right?
There's a lot of leverage with it.
There is, and they're not accumulating personal debt, it's business debt, and then they're putting everything into a trust. They technically own nothing but control everything. That's
Yeah, because Elon bought Tesla for $44 billion.
Yeah.
And he got loans for that, right? Like at least half of it.
You mean
Elon?
Twitter?
Twitter, yeah, I said
Twitter,
Tesla.
yeah.
He used Tesla stock for it.
He used partial Tesla stock, but also half of it was loans from banks.
Yeah.
Yep.
Or investors.
It's
so.
leveraging. So he leveraged it very well.
And if you're a smart businessman, you can definitely do it. And again, like a lot of it goes down to like the types of loans that you get too. And I think a lot of entrepreneurs have to like understand. It's kind of a hard game to play because when you are starting out, you probably can't get the best loan rates. And it's just, but as you establish yourself with your business and have, if you paid off some loans before with your business credit, you can get some really good loans. And then that's when the real leverage takes place. If you really want to get, $1 million loan for 2%, I mean, that's a pretty good loan,
Yeah,
and
it's a great
that
loan.
can really help you grow. You can do a $165,000 job.
Yep.
Off of one truck, maybe I don't know how many trucks you did, but say one truck did that,
Yep.
$1,800 a month, and I mean that's 165,000. That's a couple. That's like the whole car, or the whole truck right there.
Yeah.
So, almost two of them.
Yeah. So that's the thing I like about our business. The residential side is my bread and butter. That pays my my bills and pays my mortgage, my rent. It pays my labor. But when you get these big jobs and that money comes in, now that is your growth money. That's money you use to pay debt or to acquire better equipment or whatever you need. And the cool thing, or bonus out your people, which was great. I was able to, because of that job, give my people bonuses.
Nice.
And that was fantastic.
Oh wait, you're not pocketing all of it? Oh, you're a smart business owner. You know how to invest money back into your business and understands the importance of like what that looks like long term for you, as opposed to just pocketing money, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's a lot of things that a lot of startups and they don't understand that. It's like you gotta invest in your business, man. It can't just be 100% into you and then back into your personal bank account. Like you gotta understand like a way of reinvesting it back into what you're doing.
Yeah, and investing in your people.
Yep.
When they get the what? We're getting a bonus?
That's awesome.
Like, yeah.
That's
I'm
awesome.
like, enjoy it. Go have fun, So yeah, that was fantastic that I was actually able to do that. I was like, wow. And it feels good too. As a business owner, it's like, yeah.
What are some current, because we're talking about elevation and success, and I love what you've been doing at Planet Duct, and I love that you guys have been pushing and growing and growing and growing. But with progression, there's always new problems that come, right? With different types of elevation. What are some current problems that you're now facing in this level of your business career?
Making sure that we have enough steady business to keep everybody working, balancing hours and people's schedules, and that's the main thing. When you get so many people, you got I need to get off for this, or I need to be off for that, and juggling all that. That's why I'm now delegating that to somebody else, because my job is not to deal with that. My job is to make the phone ring. And if I suddenly have to go off and do somebody else's job in the company, I can't do my job, which means the phone stops ringing. So that's been the big thing. Yes, we are in a recession. We all know this. Okay, we're in a recession. People are going to be tighter with their money, and people think, well, I could defer this maintenance. I could let this go a little longer before I get this clean. And they're going to hold on to their dollars, and that is a bit of a challenge right now. And I think it's going to continue to be a challenge until we have some major changes in our country.
Right.
So just dealing with that, but and I guess our biggest thing is just educating the customer, making sure they know why our service is so necessary, how it can benefit them. That's the biggest thing is educating people. That's always a challenge. We're not dealing with the staffing challenges we were during COVID and slightly after COVID, where everyone was getting paid to sit home on the couch and do nothing. That's over with.
I'm glad.
All right, we got people. We are fully staffed. We've got everyone we need.
That's good to hear, because I don't hear that often.
We're fully staffed. We got people waiting. It's like, ooh, I would like to get to work with you. I'm like, well, keep checking in. You know, somebody may decide to go off to college. Somebody may have to move to Texas or something else with their family. You know, somebody might want to. Oh, I want to move into a different industry. Okay, great. When that opportunity comes, we've got people on a waiting list. So that is right now is fantastic for us.
I bet
it was very hard during COVID and just after COVID to find people who wanted to work and who took pride in their work, and we're finding that now, which is great.
That's awesome, man. This has been such a good interview, and thank you so much for a lot of these gold nuggets of wisdom that you've given us. Where can we find you?
Oh, I'm easy to find. If I'm not a networking event, I mean, you can reach me at planetduct.com, or you can give us a call at the office. You check me out on social media. Find my YouTube channel. That's funny. I got 95 videos on there. Some of them are just absolutely hilarious.
Yeah.
Because I have fun with making videos. I've got a whole bunch of new content I'm working on right now. So
Nice.
It's fun stuff. A lot of educational stuff and some stuff that's just silly. But yeah, I'm easy to find.
Yeah. Brandon Kirk's. There's not many of them, are there?
There's only a few, but I mean, I'm not just Brandon Kirk. I'm Brandon James Kirk.
Yes. I like you have the middle initial as J. So like, anyone who has a middle initial as J can do like the Donald J. Trump.
Yeah, Donald
J.
Trump. Brandon J. Kirk.
So I'm Andrew J. Hasley. No, I'm just kidding. Andrew's my middle name, actually.
That's funny.
Do you ever make your employees call you Captain Kirk?
It's on my business card.
Oh, I love it.
It's on your license plate on the new vehicle, too.
One of our license plates says Captain Kirk on the back. And then, on my business card it says Brandon James Kirk, Captain.
Nice.
So, yeah.
Oh, that's awesome. Well, this has been great. Thank you so much for coming on the show. We really enjoyed it. Again, thank you for sponsoring us, too, for the past few years. We appreciate you and appreciate your time. And we'll see you guys on the next one.